Imagine a time when nothing you knew could compete with the feelings you had at Christmas time, because somehow you knew there would be some toys you wanted under the tree, toys you had first enjoyed in a catalog which captivated your imagination and set your hearts on fire as you hoped and prayed Santa would bring Lionel's latest trains to your house on Christmas Eve and leave them there for you to open with amazement on Christmas morning. These videos are for children who have grown to embrace the greatest hobby of all time, a hobby which is able to transport grown men back to a simpler time when all that really mattered was taking control of an imaginary world where the trains served up more fun and excitement, a world a child could create and call his own. A hobby led by a man who built a giant which has set the standards for every competitor and which still thrives some 125 years after its creation. This is the magic of Lionel trains.
Well, hello again. You know, during my years in the news business, I've reported countless stories. Stories unusual or all too familiar. Stories sad and bright. These days, it's rare to be able to report a story which is both unusual and bright, or even more important, actually exhilarating. When any newsman finds not one, but four such stories originating in a single source, he knows he has scored a beat. But this, friends, is actually the case with Lionel in 62. Four separate stories, and every one of them is upbeat, exciting, full of promise. Our lead story is Trains, where Lionel first established its world-famous reputation. Now let's look at some of the great features Lionel has added for 1962. Presenting the Lionel Cavalcade of Trains for 1962, Section 1, featuring 6 new Lionel O27 operating cars designed for double action, action in sales, action in play. This is the new Mercury capsule launching car, keyed to the interest of the space age. It's a replica of the Atlas rocket and man-carrying Mercury capsule, mounted on a special flat car launching platform. This is the new cherry picker car that moves the astronaut to the hatch of the Mercury capsule. His job done, the cherry picker backs off. The remotely triggered rocket and capsule zoom high into the air. At a predetermined height, the capsule separates from the rocket automatically, releasing a parachute which settles it gently to Earth. 2 great new cars packed with action, and they're Lionel new all the way through. This is the new turbo missile firing car, about to launch its missile at the new aerial target launching car. And believe it or not, the target is held in place by a jet of air produced by an air compressor built right into the car. And it's 4, 3, 2, 1, fire. Direct hit by the turbo missile. Mission accomplished. is the new reconnaissance copter car, an innocent-looking freight car with a top that opens automatically to launch a Navy helicopter high into the air. Another new Lionel action car created to capture the interest and imagination of young America. Now this is the new cop and hobo car, a specially designed freight car that permits two figures, a cop and a hobo, to change places from trestle to moving freight and from freight to trestle. It's another Lionel operating car with a cop and hobo chase that really packs an action wallet. The new motorized hand car, with two railroad maintenance men pumping the handles to send the car scooting down the track. And the big new motorized turntable. Excitingly different, this turntable requires no bolts or screws, no marring or cutting of the tabletop. It's surface mounted in seconds for still another real as life Lionel touch. Now Lionel continues its merchandise policy of introducing its best-selling O-27 operating cars into HO. For 1962, look what Lionel has done to the constantly increasing HO train business. The new Minuteman missile launching car. The new Sheriff and Outlaw car shown here with the Sheriff shooting it out with the Outlaw while protecting the new Gold Bullion car. And simultaneously with their introduction in O-27, this select group of exciting big volume items completely new to model railroading are also being introduced into the HO line for 62. The new turbo missile firing car. The new cop and hobo car. The new rodeo car. And the new Mercury capsule carrying car. And there's big news in Lionel HO locomotives too. Really big news. Now for the first time in HO, a Lionel steamer with whistle. Now for the first time in HO, a diesel with horn. In the examples we have just seen is ample proof that Lionel is maintaining its policy of keeping model railroading timely, up to the minute, and geared to the space age in both O-27 and HO gauge.
Look ahead, fellows, to the biggest thrill any Christmas can bring. Ask for Lionel trains, the only trains in all the world with magnet traction, built-in track-gripping power. You can make Lionel trains do just about everything big trains do.
Children, say hello to your father.
Hello, Father.
How do you do?
Go right ahead with your playing. We don't want to disturb you. Yes, yes, dear. Pugsley, why don't you show your father what you can do with the trains?
Watch this, Father. Swell wreck, wasn't it?
Swell wreck. The boy needs help. Until you pay for those trains, I am cutting off your allowance.
But I don't get any allowance.
Starting today, you get an allowance, so I can cut it off.
May I be of service to you, madam?
Yes, you may. I want to buy an electric train outfit. Very fancy and very elaborate. It's for a birthday.
Oh, I'm sure we can find something nice. May I ask how old is the boy?
41. He'll be 42 tomorrow.
Beep! Beep, beep. Beep, beep, beep.
Now, from the top-secret car barns of the Lionel Corporation comes the most advanced military train ever developed. It's the new Lionel Minuteman car. It looks like an ordinary freight train, but don't let it fool you. At this very moment, the exact position of an enemy ammunition train is being radioed in to the engineers of the Minuteman car. It moves into position. Suddenly, the innocent-looking freight car roof slides open automatically, and the Minuteman fires. Enemy target destroyed. Mission accomplished. For surefire action, ask Dad for the remarkable new Lionel Minuteman car with the long-range missile you control. Remember, boy, you're the boss on land, sea, and in the air when you own Lionel trains.
The story of the railroads is the dramatic story of progress in transportation. From the earliest horse-drawn coach to the streamliner of today. We laugh at the thought of a horse outracing a locomotive, but that's what happened more than a century ago when one of the first steam-driven passenger trains in America, the Tom Thumb, came in a poor second to Old Dobbin. But Tom Thumb grew into a giant, and Old Dobbin was left far behind. Years of progress changed the size, power, and speed of these chariots of the rails, and a railroad engineer became something of a hero. More than just a story of progress, railroading became part of the drama of America's dynamic growth from a frontier society to a great nation whose mighty cities and boundaries are linked by bands of steel. Just as America has grown apace with the phenomenal progress of its railroads, so does young America grow up with model trains. The American boy who dreams of someday becoming an engineer spends many happy hours playing with realistic models like the ones displayed in this wonderful showroom. These miniature lines have most of the features of real railroads: stations, switches, tunnels, bridges, signal towers, even realistic scenery. And the little engines and cars are amazingly accurate, perfect to the tiniest detail. What hours of fun and excitement are spread out here before the delighted gaze of a little boy.
Railroads have come a long way since the days of Tom Thumb, and model railroads have come a long way since the days of the spring winder Dad used to play with when he was a boy. Dad was born too soon. Look what he missed. Electricity runs the little streamliners and freight trains. It operates the switches and signal towers and the other intricate devices that make model railroading as wonderfully interesting and complicated as the real thing. To a boy who dreams of growing up to be the engineer of a big, black, powerful steam engine, the hours of apprenticeship spent on a small-scale line are richly rewarding. Here he is king. Here at his bidding, the trains start and stop. The whistles blow, the lights flash, the switches turn. He is lord and master of all the railroad he surveys. Generations of American boys have looked longingly at models like these, have asked generations of American fathers to buy them trains like this, and have cluttered up living rooms with yards and yards of track to the dismay of generations of American mothers. As long as there are youngsters, there will be model trains and all the other paraphernalia that make model railroading the big thrill in a little boy's life. Sleep comes easily to little boys, and so do dreams. In his dreams, he travels fast and far into history. He is Ben-Hur racing his chariot in the Colosseum of ancient Rome. He is skipper of a full-rigged ship, captain of a clipper rounding the Horn. He feels a kinship with John Paul Jones. The adventure and romance of travel are woven into the fabric of his dreams, and he sails on through the night. He is a decorated ace and takes off in a jet fighter. Up, 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 flying faster than the speed of sound, faster than the speed of dreams. Now he cries, Geronimo! And bails out over enemy territory. Of course, he dreams about trains. How could he help it after that visit to the model train exhibit? He doesn't wait till he grows up to become the engineer. He just dreams he's one. He dreams he's Casey Jones, that fearless, brave engineer famed in story and song. And he is all set for the fastest, most exciting train ride in history, to the coast and back, non-stop, in the time it takes to dream it. Over! The world is a dream, and a dream is a train. As Casey Jones sits in the cab of his locomotive and thunders across the country. Cities and farms roll past in a vast panorama of sight and sound. Just wait till Skinny and the other kids hear about this. Won't they be jealous? The fires burn, and the steam sings, and the wheels turn. The train picks up dust in Kansas and lets it down again in Oklahoma. The whistle blows in Florida, and they hear it in Vermont. The smoke rises over the prairie, and they see it in the city. Lickety-cut, lickety-cut. Listen to the clickety-click. We're coming through like a falling star. So back you autos, back you cows. I'm coming as fast as the law allows. Driver of a crack cross-country express, our pint-sized Casey Jones has been bitten by the railroad bug for good. Asleep or awake, he will hear the rumble of the wheels singing in his ears the rest of his life.
Did you ever see a boy's eyes light up like a Christmas tree? You will if he gets Lionel trains for Christmas. They're everything any boy ever wanted. Smoke-puffing steam locos, sounding their two-tone whistles, and great diesel streamliners blasting their horns. All with Lionel's exclusive magnet traction, a sensational track-gripping power that lets them climb steep grades, take sharp curves faster, pull many more cars, and stop on a dime for loading and unloading in true-to-life big railroad style. Lionel trains have such big train features as solid steel wheels and heavy-duty trucks, and real railroad knuckle couplers operated by a remote control. So for a boy's eye view of the perfect Christmas, see Lionel trains with magnet traction. Now at your Lionel dealers. Lionel train sets begin as low as $19.95.
At Irvington, New Jersey, one of the most remarkable companies in the nation is benefiting from the great number of boys born during and after World War II. It's the Lionel Corporation, maker of toy electric trains. As fast as they can mold, stamp, and assemble the parts, Lionel workers strive to satisfy the demands of American youngsters as well as the just plain young of heart. It's largely a Christmas business, toy train making, but to manufacture the number of realistic miniatures needed, Lionel must keep producing throughout the year. The tiny wheels and other parts are made exactly to scale. In fact, Lionel uses the same blueprints used by the builders of full-size trains, so the major railroads are proud to have one of their new locomotives reproduced. And for the railroad bug, everything must be exactly as it is on the main line. The first toy electric train produced by Joshua Lionel Cowan, the company's president, was just an open wooden flat car carrying a tiny battery-powered motor. That was in 1900. From the beginning, Cowan insisted his toy trains must run on electricity. For, he said, who ever saw a regular train that had to be wound up? The one outstanding characteristic of Lionel operations can be summarized in the word realism. With every unit a model of a full-size train, that means even the paint job must conform to reality. Lionel typifies what's been happening in America's toy industry generally in recent years. Tremendous production in 1949 has had to be greatly increased in 1950. Lionel was an important producer of delicate military equipment during the war and could convert again. but they'd far rather go right on turning out the toy trains that bring light to the eye of the American male of any age. Here we see being assembled the little trucks that will carry the trains along their tracks. Sections of track are spotted throughout the plant, so that at all stages of production the cars can be sent on a trial spin. The tracks themselves are also assembled here, partly by hand, partly by machine. Formerly of brass, now they're made of steel, so they will hold magnetized wheels on steep grades. More than 1,500 miles of track a year is the current rate of production. A large part of the business of keeping model railroad fans happy lies in the making of accessories. Crossing gates, houses for the gatemen, water towers. There are dozens of items needed for a realistic layout. In the testing lab, trains run continuously day and night until they break down. In this way, it's determined which part will wear out first, and the designers immediately set to work on a better part to replace it. So, as the cows enter their cattle car, and the milk comes out of the refrigerator car, and the signal is given to let her roll, all hands can be sure everything is strictly according to Hoyle.
Watch it, Tish. Watch it.
Wonderful.
For a minute there, I thought I was going to miss.
I love to watch you play with these trains. It brings out the real you.
Tish, would you like to see me blow up 3 trains?
Oh, darling, you know I would. How exciting. Look at them go.
This is going to be the greatest train wreck in railroad history. Gotta switch them onto the same track.
Wonderful.
What you are about to see is top secret. The first official test of the powerful new Lionel turbo missile firing car. Right beside it stands the new Lionel reconnaissance copter car. Suddenly, its roof snaps open, and the reconnaissance copter zooms aloft to get range and position of targets. And there they are, on the other side of the firing range, a battery of new Lionel aerial target cars. Their air compressors holding the targets in place. And now, the test. Fire 1. Fire 2. Test successful. See the exciting new Lionel turbo missile firing car, aerial target car, and the reconnaissance copter car. Remember, boy, you're the boss of the greatest action cars ever created when you own Lionel trains.
The Lionel Corporation presents The Wonderful World of Trains. Starring the Cesare Puppets. With Paul O'Keefe.
Mr. Roundy, I'll put you here so you can get away in a hurry. Mr. Policeman, I'll put you here so you can see everything. Mr. Professor, I'll put you right.
Here. You, sir.
Me? Where am I? Who are you?
I am Professor Herman J. Hotbox, and you are in the wonderful world of trains. Yes, indeed, that's where you are. Trains, and they're all late. Oh, my.
But you can talk.
Of course I can talk. I have been talking for years. Started when I was 14 months old. And I might add, I'm getting mighty tired of waiting for the show to start. For I am the narrator and guide for the wonderful world of trains. Oh, yes. Wonderful world of trains. Late. They're all late. Late.
You, boy! Pop those eyeballs back in their sockets and come alive. You look like a puppet. Come on, boy, I need an assistant, and you're it.
They can talk and move. All by themselves.
I declare, boy, you act like I wasn't real. Come now, throw that switch. The wonderful world of trains is about to begin. Begin? Did I say begin? Why, the fact is the wonderful world of trains has been going on for years. Ah, yes, wonderful trains. The very sight of them recalls the romance of faraway places. How well I recall my days as gatekeeper in the little railroad town of Wet Moccasin. Used to sit by the hour, hand on the gate, waiting for the silver meteor to highball on through. For 5 years I just sat there and marveled at the great speed of that train. A train too fast to see with the naked eye. And then, that day, 2 o'clock on a Thursday it was, I found out the truth. That blur I thought was the meteor turned nothing but a smear of hair oil on my sunglasses. Oh, the disappointment of it all. That silver meteor never came closer than 50 miles from Wet Moccasin. Seems they ran out of track and never told me. 5 years I waited, 5 wasted years. But through it all, my love of trains never dimmed. I still get a thrill when I see those steel wheels clacking along the rails. Ah, the thought of them, speeding along the hills and valleys, gleaming monsters of steel, racing over bridges and signals flashing, and oh, it overwhelms me, boy, overwhelms me. What was that?
A diesel streamliner. I thought you knew all about trains.
I do, boy, I do. But I'm a freight man myself. Ah, I think I hear her coming now. A fully loaded freight. A truly magnificent sight. What kind of a freight is that?
That's a United States Navy diesel freight. The roughest, toughest fighting train there is.
Well, what do you know? A whale with a top hat.
That's not a whale, Algie. That's a replica of a real Navy submarine, and it really works.
Ho. Knew it all the time, boy, just testing you. Mighty smart young fella you are, too. Reminds me of myself when I was a boy. A positive genius I was, too. As my dear mother used to say, Algernon, she called me Algernon, Algernon, she'd say, science has been waiting for a head like yours for over 1 million years. Boy, did I hear you say that submarine really works?
You bet she works. You take her off the special car and launch her. She dives, cruises underwater, and surfaces, just like a real sub.
Oh, yes.
When the test run is over, you'll load her on the special sub-carrying flat car.
Oh, very fine, very fine. But boy, you're forgetting that I, Algernon Caboose, am the narrator here.
I'm sorry, Algie. I didn't mean to take over. Here, you tell us about the next car.
Oh, yes, of course. The next car. Yes. A magnificent specimen. Perfect in every detail. Flawless in design. It's the
Algie, describe it. Everyone wants to know how it works.
Ah, yes. The train. Oh, yes. Beautiful, isn't it? It's called a memory lapse.
You mean helicopter car, don't you, Algie?
Took the words right out of my mouth, boy.
And this real-looking helicopter takes off from its specially designed flat car deck. Watch this.
I'm watching, boy, from a distance.
Off she goes into the air. How's that for action, Algie?
Action. Sounds, boy. I'm quivering with excitement. Ah, wonderful feeling it is, too.
Algie, get off the rail and tell us about the next car.
Ah, yes. The next. Yes, the magnificent banana car. Oh, 4 ripe bananas.
Algie, those are not bananas. This is a missile-firing car, and I am mounting these 4 missiles for firing.
Ah, yes, just testing to see if you're wide awake. A little trick of mine, you know. The missile-firing car, of course, with missiles that really fire. Really fire?
That's right, Algie. These missiles really fire. See that freight car on that siding over there?
That's my kind of freight car. Say, boy, did I ever tell you how I pulled a freight car full of apples over 10 miles uphill, just for the exercise? Could have pulled it another 10 if I wasn't so full of apples. What you gonna do now?
Never mind, Algie. Just give me the countdown and watch that freight car. 10, 9, 8.
Gotcha, boy. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Disaster. Complete disaster. Zounds, boy. Look what you've done to my favorite freight. Oh, the pity of it.
Don't worry, Algie. That car is made to fall apart when it's hit, but you can put it right together again.
Excuse me, son. Did I hear you speak to someone by the name of Algie?
Well, he was right here a minute ago.
Missed him again. Thank you, boy.
Relax, boy. Algernon Caboose is back, ready to expound with unfailing accuracy the ecstatic beauty and magnificent perfection of the wonderful world of trains. Ah, the wonder of it. The whole countryside full of real-as-life electric trains. Everyone complete down to the finest detail. Boy, unless these old eyes of mine deceive me, there is a stupendous crash in the offing.
Don't worry, Algie. Everything's under control.
Control? Fiddlesticks. I fear I'm about to witness a veritable crash of the century. Egad, I can't look.
See, Algie? Missed by a mile.
Missed by a... Oh.
Poor Algie. He's faded. Wake up, Algie! Wake up!
I tell you, officer, I didn't do it. I was in Africa at the time, rounding up giraffes for Diffendorfer's circus.
Algie, wake up! Algie, wake up! I'm not the policeman.
Don't bother me, officer. Can't you see I'm enjoying a wonderful dream? Oh, the beauty of it. My African giraffes. Captured every one myself. Loaded them on a special freight train. You never saw such a train. Loaded with giraffes as far as the eye could see. Oh, a thrilling sight.
It's no dream, Algie. There really is a giraffe car in the wonderful world of trains.
Yep, giraffe cars.
And they're wonderful, like you said. But, Algie, were you really in Africa hunting big game?
Boy, You are looking upon the only hunter in the world to catch a full-grown African elephant with a butterfly net. I must admit the net was reinforced, you understand? Egad, what a feat of daring. It was second only to the way I saved the Tehachapi freight from complete disaster.
You prevented a train wreck? I think you're fooling me.
Boy, if I'm fooling, may a freight full of fish come down the track.
Hey, looks like a freight. Hey, it's an aquarium car, and you can see the fish swimming around inside it.
Oh, yes, a mere coincidence, a trick of fate, a dream. It can't be. Egad, a freight car with fish that swim around.
Tell me, how did you save a train from a wreck? Or is that another fish story?
Fish story indeed. Your insult hurts me to the core, boy, to the very core. But if my admirers insist on hearing my story, well, let's get on with it. Ah, yes. A clear and sunny day it was, not more than 2 weeks ago. I was in my usual position beside the track waiting for the fast freight to Tehachapi. Didn't mind the wait a bit. Oh, there was so much to see. There was Willie Fliegelfluger, the railroad maintenance man, going back and forth on his motorized car. Good man, that Willie. Used to be the foreman in a yo-yo factory. Couldn't stand the monotony, so he changed his job. And not so far off, they were unloading a load of lumber from one of those newfangled lumber cars. Beautiful sight to see. Well, sir, I must have been waiting for an hour or more when suddenly she came round the bend.
The Tehachapi freight?
Nope. It was the General, steaming full speed down the main line. Pretty as a picture she was. Then suddenly she slowed right smack in the middle of the right-of-way.
Did something go wrong with the engine?
Not really, boy. That engineer just eased up on his throttle while he ate his lunch. You see, it was a mighty hot day, and he didn't want to take any chances on his cheese sandwiches going bad. Then it happened.
His cheese spoiled?
No. The Tehachapi freight came a-barreling down the main line on the same track as the General. Closer and closer she came, but that engineer and the General just kept on eating his sandwich. I tell you, boy, you never saw such excitement in your life. And on she came, heading straight for the General's middle.
What did you do?
I acted with the speed of light. Reached out my foot and kicked the switch. Not a second too soon. Took the polish right off my shoe.
Gosh.
Please, boy, it was nothing.
Algie?
Think he went that away.
Algernon Caboose?
Oh, well.
World traveler? Storyteller? Self-appointed guide? Hero of the wonderful world of trains?
I didn't do it. I was miles from here, whiling my time away at a drive-in movie. Ah, yes, I remember the picture well. About a policeman who arrested the wrong man. Got 20 years.
Ricky, it's time to go to bed. Come on, dear, it's getting late. You can return to your wonderful world of trains tomorrow.
The Wonderful World of Trains has been presented by the Lionel Corporation.
On the night before Christmas, what do boys dream of? No visions of sugar plums for today's kids. They've got a one-track mind. Visions of Lionel trains, eyeballing around the track with all the extra speed and extra power of Lionel's exclusive magnet traction. a permanent magnetic grip exerted through the steel wheels and axles of the locomotive. Magnetraction is just one of the engineering advances in the trains been the world's finest for over 50 years. Lionel trains. There's everything you ever hoped for. All the real-life thrills of big-time railroading. Remote-controlled trackside equipment. And real-life operating cars. With such realistic details as operating knuckle couplers on every car. Two-tone steam whistles and diesel horns. And clean white smoke. Exactly the way he dreams of it.
It's high noon on the town clock. A gold shipment has just been transferred from the Fort Knox depot to the new Lionel gold bullion car. Security guards are posted to protect the gold shipment. And there she goes, carrying her valuable cargo. But wait, what's this? Outlaws trying to take over the train. Not a chance. Every one of those outlaws is covered by a gun-toting sheriff in Lionel's new action-packed sheriff and outlaw car. One thing's sure, that gold shipment will arrive on time, and you control the action. Ask Dad for the newest action car of all, the Lionel Sheriff and Outlaw car. Remember, boy, you're the boss when you own Lionel trains. The night is clear, with a sky full of stars. Suddenly you see it. It's a satellite in orbit. Yes, sir, boy. Watching a satellite is fun, but launching your own satellite, that's the most fun of all. And here she is, the wonderful new Lionel satellite car you can own, with a real-as-life satellite you control.
Lionel Satellite 3519, ready for launching. Launch satellite.
Off she goes into the sky. When her orbit's completed, mount her back on her special flat car launching base, ready for action. Ask Dad for the new Lionel satellite car. Remember, boy, you're the boss on land, sea, and in the air when you own Lionel trains.
These trains always take my mind off troubles. Here, you run the trains. Isn't it exciting? One train going east, the other one going west.
I have an idea. What if they crash head on?
Better still, I'll blow them up. Now, you take that switch. When they meet at the bridge, wham!
Say, Mother.
This is the day of the big inspection at the railroad freight depot. In preparation for the inspection, the Lionel HO track cleaning car is dispatched. With sponges rotating at full speed, it cleans and polishes the track. And just in time for the arrival of the chief inspector in his new Lionel HO executive inspection car. A fully motorized automobile with flanged wheels for riding the track. He moves in to check the new Lionel HO operating milk car as it starts unloading the milk cans automatically. Nearby, the Lionel HO dump car and the Lionel HO lumber cars are delivering their cargoes. The inspector is pleased, and so is his dad. They know that only Lionel has so many different HO operating cars. That's why there's more fun, more action when you own Lionel trains.
tell me in your own words, why do you find it impossible to live with your husband?
Well,
Don't touch the microphone. Speak louder.
well, my husband has been beastly.
I see. Did he drink a lot?
Oh, no, sir, not at all.
Stayed out all night?
Oh, no.
He blacked your eye.
Please, Mr. Agony.
Then what did your husband do?
This.
He threw it at you.
Oh, Mr. Agony, you don't understand. You see, it all started last Christmas when Joe brought an electric train for our little nephew.
If I'd known then what I know now, I never would have let him unwrap that package. The next morning, he had to show Junior all about the train. But the more he showed Junior, the less Junior had a Christmas present.
I'm gonna make you go fast. Hey, wait a minute, I'll run it. You sit there. I'll run it. Keep your hands off it. Give me that. Give me that train, Junior. Give me that train, Junior.
Joe, give Junior a train. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. After all, it's his Christmas present.
Then the disease hit him, and Joe had to have a train of his own.
Almost stepped on my caboose.
Oh, well, get your caboose up off the floor, will you, and go to work?
I got loads of time. Loads of time. Alice, be careful.
By February, Joe had taken the plunge. His railroad empire had spread all over the front room. I decided to take the bull by the horns.
Alice, Santa Fe left the station at 12:01 and the BO freight is right on schedule. Watch! See, Alice, that's what you call an operation.
Joe, you're going to need an operation if you don't get this stuff out of the living room.
Look out, honey, look out! Look out!
That stuff. Joe, if you don't get this stuff out of here right this minute, so help me, I'm going to break it up piece by piece. I'm going to take every bit of it and tear it apart.
Oh, you're not!
Things went along okay for a while. Joe got his railroad up off my living room floor, and we were as close to marital happiness as was possible under the circumstances.
Circumstances?
Yes. You see, Joe hadn't given up his hobby. He had merely taken it off the floor.
Joe, what's that?
6:15, it's time to get up.
Then we began to notice the dent in our bank account. I gave up the beauty parlor and continued to wear last year's clothes, while hobby-happy Joe indulged himself at the railroad store.
Ah, Mr. McDoakes, how's the B&O coming on? On track, on time, and over budget. Tell you what I want. I want the operating milk car and a remote control. Yes, sir. Oh, and by the way, fly around the track for the boys. Thanks. Gentlemen, from Mr. McDoakes. My pleasure, boys. Here we are. What is that? Oh, that's our latest gadget, Mr. McDoakes. Our mechanical signal tower. And the little men, they even belong to the Brotherhood. I gotta have it. Here, wrap it up. I'm sorry, it's only the demonstrator, Mr. McDoakes. Look, I'll pay it up. No, that's not the idea. Here, take all of it, Mr. McDoakes. Just a moment. I got it. Hey.
That's all Joe cared about, giving his money to the railroad shop. Soon he'd have plenty of space in the living room for his toys.
Too.
Alice, will you leave me alone?
Oh.
But the final blow came the night we had my mother over for dinner. We couldn't afford a maid anymore, but Joe took care of that.
Well, what?
Go on, say it.
Oh, Joe.
Say it.
Please pass the olives.
train?
What good is the gravy without the meat?
It's my railroad, Alice.
This is the end of the line, Joe McDokes. I am sick and tired of eating, sleeping, and living on a railroad. Either you stop playing with toys and grow up, or I'm going home to Mother.
You tell him, Alice. One more day in this house, and you'll be as crazy as he is.
Oh, so now I'm crazy, huh? You think I'm off my track, do you? You think I got a hot box in my head, huh? Well, let me tell you something. You don't derail when your block signals are working. And I'm running on time, on sched, you understand? On sched! Now, both of you get off my right away, or I'll call a railroad bull. Go on!
And that's my problem, Mr. Agony.
Well, it's a very interesting case, but before I make any recommendation to you, I'd like to hear what Mr. McDokes has to say. Are you Mr. McDokes?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
You bet.
Tell me, do you use O gauge or O27 gauge? Have you tried hooking the transformers in parallel? Look at that, ain't that a beaut?
Union Pacific.
Say, how'd you like to come over to my place tonight after the show?
Beep, 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 beep.
Hey, we'll be a little late, folks. Sorry.
Here's the sure way to give St. Nick the go-ahead for the biggest thrill any Christmas can bring. Ask for Lionel trains, the only trains in all the world with magnet traction, the built-in permanent power that means more speed, more pulling power, more climb, more control. And what control? You can make Lionel trains do just about everything big trains do. Put alongside the lumber loader for a full carload of logs, and roll them out when you get to the lumber mill. Pick up a rancher's cattle for delivery to a distant city, or pause at a freight station while the baggage men scurry in and out at work. There's just no limit to the real-life performances you can enjoy with Lionel accessories and operating cars. So look ahead to the most exciting Christmas you've ever known.
Parades and shopping, carolers and excitement, and great expectations. And finally it comes, Christmas morning. Ah, what wild and wonderful dreams are waiting to come true beneath this tree. A certain present here will make this Christmas the one to be remembered always. A Lionel electric train. It will grow in value and importance during the years ahead by helping to train these children for adulthood early in life, teaching them control, giving them a sense of responsibility while they're having fun. And what fun! This is Lionel's helicopter car. It actually launches a copter that takes off and flies like a real helicopter. And take a look at this IRBM missile launcher. Press a button and off it goes to a target that blows up. And watch, this amazing target car can easily be put back together by any boy or girl and blown up again and again. Fun's the word for a Lionel electric train because you're in charge.
Yep, on the Lionel line, you're the boss.
I just stopped by to talk to you about... They're going to crash.
You think so, huh? Beautiful. Beautiful.
Decks awash. With a thunderous roar, she breaks the surface. It's the giant new Navy submarine on her final test run. The only sub more exciting than this one is the new Lionel submarine you can own. A real-as-life operating sub mounted on the Lionel submarine car.
Gee, did he really die?
You bet. Go on, boy. Take her off the special Lionel car. Put her in your own ocean and launch her. Now, take her down, Skipper. She dives just like a real sub. She cruises. She moves underwater. Then surfaces automatically. When the run is over, you can ship her anywhere in the whole country on her special flat car. It's one of hundreds of real-as-life Lionel trains you can command. This Christmas, ask Dad for the exciting new Lionel submarine car. Remember, boy, you are the boss when you own Lionel trains.
It's the night before Christmas. The family's at the fireside. And for the children, the hour is 1 minute before bedtime. Of all nights, of all bedtimes, this is the most difficult. For tomorrow is Christmas. And sleep is not for youngsters who wait for surprises, who conjure up fantasies of a giant tree glittering with lights and tinsel planted in an acre of bright new toys. And so later, when the children are in bed, sleeping fitfully to be sure, the scene is set, the big surprise unfolded. This year, Johnny will get his electric train, his iron pony. And Mom and Dad can't help but think of other Christmases, other surprises, other childhoods. It seems only yesterday to Dad that he was bounding downstairs on a cold Christmas morning to find a toy train of his own. Nothing as slick as this, of course, but indelible in boyhood memory. Now the staccato clicks on the rails and the gentle purr of the locomotive remind him of those early, crude, but wonderful models and the days when he was the engineer, Casey Jones Jr. himself. The old trains Dad remembers have come a long way. The stem winders, the battery-powered models, and the first plug-ins with transformers that got so hot you could scramble an egg on them are gone. The toy trains of today have moved along with their bigger, real-life brothers on the main line of American railroad progress. Real trains have a romance all their own, with names that are legendary. And what youngster hasn't dreamed of high-balling down the right-of-way at 90 miles an hour, signal going full blast? Most folks never get to run a locomotive, but with models, they can run a whole railroad. Millions of Americans, like William Gargan and Grover Whalen, are toy train fans. Here they see a remarkable innovation, a real railroad-type coupler, which is operated by remote control. It permits coupling and uncoupling of cars, switching and operation of all gadgets while the trains are in motion. The boss of this railroad takes inventory right from his remote control panel board. Here are some of the things he operates. A conveyor-type lumber loader. A milk car with delivery right to the platform. cattle car. Livestock has to be exercised en route, and this takes them out of the car, into the corral, and back into the car again. A freight station with very busy and efficient baggage men. A crack streamliner, complete with Vista Dome observation car. An automatic crossing watchman who keeps motorists clear of the tracks. Then, too, there's a coal loader, another operation with complete remote control. And a searchlight car, the big eye for wrecking and repair crews. If you should strike oil on your right-of-way, you're covered by this derrick and pump. When you get to those big rivers, just wait for the drawbridge. Working on this railroad is strictly a push-button job. Designing this equipment requires considerable ingenuity and planning by model train executives and engineers. They maintain close contact with the railroads, are quick to adapt new developments to the toy train field. Railroads encourage toy companies to adapt their designs, readily furnish blueprints and photos. Designers carefully study pictures of real trains and adapt them with fidelity to half-pint specifications. Locomotives are particularly studied, and whether it be a modern diesel or a rugged steam job, the model will follow the design of the real thing. Building locomotives and cars for full-size trains is a mighty productive enterprise involving a highly skilled workforce, massive machinery, huge parts, and great plants. Toy train building is a different story. The plant is large, so is the production, but everything else is in miniature. This factory turns out 80,000 pieces of track a day. Here are some more production figures. 25,000 cars roll off its assembly lines every 24 hours. And every hour, 250 diesel locomotives come off the line under their own power. Every conceivable gadget and accessory is produced in great quantity and in small size. Finished trains are subjected to wear tests, run continuously until they break down, check durability. This railroad carries no passengers or freight, but keeps a lot of grown men busy. They're another brand of hobbyists, perhaps the most rabid of all, the train builders of the Model Club. Most of them were bitten by the railroad bug at an early age and never got over it. The men who in daily life, maybe doctors, lawyers, businessmen, or teachers, play in a kid's idea of fairyland. Everything, trains, track, bridges, tunnels, landscapes, scenery, and buildings, is handmade. There are engineers, roundhouse men, painters, dispatchers, and conductors. Schedules are scrupulously maintained, and efficient operation keeps the line a model in every sense of the word. So, on Christmas morning, when Johnny and his sister come bouncing into the living room to behold the eighth wonder of the world, it'd be nice if they knew the story behind electric trains, but of course it's Christmas. And Johnny's too excited to be bothered with stories today. It's an old, old story, Johnny, and that goes for the part where Pop starts telling you how to run her. Don't let him. You'll never get him away from her if you do. Well, you've got your train, young fella. You can drive her anywhere you want, to California, South Setauket, or Timbuktu. So take her away, Johnny. You're Casey Jones III, boss of the Iron Ponies.
It's the new Lionel train catalog with more than 56 pages jam-packed with full-color pictures of track layouts, equipment, and trains, including the new missile launching car that fires a missile just like the real thing. Watch. Raise missile to firing position. Fire! Direct hit on Lionel's exploding target car. And here's the biggest news of all. Right inside the new Lionel catalog is your chance to win $1,000. You can win up to $1,000 in cash in the new Lionel Track Layout Contest. There are over 500 prizes. Enter the Lionel Track Layout Contest now. Complete rules and simple layouts are in the new Lionel Train catalog. Go to your Lionel dealer and get your free copy while his supply lasts.
Did you ever see a boy's eyes light up like a Christmas tree? You will if he gets Lionel trains for Christmas. Because only Lionel trains have Magnetraction, the permanent track-gripping power. See Lionel trains with Magnetraction.
Clear the track. It's a Lionel Express barreling down the pike with a full head of steam. Wheels humming, pistons gleaming, real as life. Steady now. Switch crossing just ahead. Wow, that was close. A thrill a minute's guaranteed when you're in command of your own Lionel trains. Now watch her grip that track as she climbs. She'll never slip or slide. That's Magna Traction, boy, and only Lionel's got it. And talk about fun. Here comes the newest addition to the Lionel line. It's the Lionel Giraffe Car, with a giraffe that ducks his head automatically for a low bridge. Watch them go. So real you'll think they're alive. This Christmas, ask Dad for the new Real as Life Lionel trains. And remember, boy, you are the boss when you own Lionel trains.
The only model trains with Magna Traction proudly present the Joe DiMaggio Show. Starring the Yankee Clipper Joe DiMaggio himself with Jack Barry.
Well, how about telling the story about the young friend of yours and the dream he had that came true?
Well, yes, Joe, it's a wonderful story, and I'll bet that all of our club members have had the same dream at one time or another. Well, Tommy knew exactly what he wanted for Christmas. He wanted an electric train. He had the whole thing in his mind, even to the table where he was going to set it up. Sitting there at the table, he could picture the whole thing, and he would dream so hard that the whole thing would come to life right before his eyes. Of course, Tommy was a pretty strong wisher, and what he started wishing for was a pretty fancy-looking train set with locomotive and freight cars, and the station and the gateman, the water tower, and all kinds of wonderful equipment and accessories. So grand that you might think Tommy was wishing for something that just didn't exist. But Tommy knew what he was wishing for. And sure enough, on Christmas morning, Tommy's dream came true. Because Tommy had told his father that he wanted Lionel. Just the low-priced Lionel Scout train set. with a few Lionel accessories. Yes, even the simplest of Lionel train sets and track layouts is a wonderful, thrilling, complete model railroad. That's because it's made by Lionel. Lionel, the originator of the electric model train, makers of the most realistic, scale-detailed model train equipment. Lionel, the only model train with magna traction. And now for some more fun, suppose we take another look in on our Lionel engineer.
Now, boys, I'm going to show you why Lionel trains are better. I'm going to show you how carefully they're made, and how well they're put together, and how they operate. For example, look at the head of this typical Lionel locomotive. The smoke box door hinges, pilot steps, the uncoupling rod. They're exactly duplicated. And see how this drop coupler and air hose are simulated. And notice these handrails of stainless steel. And now look at the steam valves and side gears. Every part is modeled to the most minute detail. Now look at these wheels. They're all steel, mind you, and have a high adhesion surface, better traction. And of course, they also have magna traction. That's a magnetic force that holds the wheels to the rails to give you increased power, higher speed, and more climb. Fellas, these are just a few of the details that show you how Lionel trains are made better and put together better so that they will look better and operate better. And speaking of magna traction, I know you boys want to learn more about this new development in model railroading. So we've made up this book on magna traction called The Magic of Magna Traction. It tells you what it is and how it works, and it's packed full of pictures and information to help you to have more fun with your model railroad. Now, all you have to do to get this free book is send your name and address to Joe DiMaggio. That's Joe DiMaggio, care of the Lionel Corporation.
Hi, this is my friend, the Grumman Tiger. It's a jet, and I'm Ralph Donnell, its test pilot. It takes a lot of training to control one of these babies. My son Wayne will learn someday.
Right now, though, he's getting ready by learning to control a Lionel electric train. With a Lionel train, you not only get locomotives and cars, but all sorts of missile and rocket equipment, too. For instance, these missile launchers. And take a look at this IRBM launcher. 3, 2, 1, fire! Wow! And look, you can put this target car back together again. And blow it up again. What happens when there's a fire? Why, call up the Lionel Fire Corps, of course. And here's something nobody's ever seen before. Lionel's illuminated aquarium car with moving tropical fish. And when you want to send out a scouting party, do it with a helicopter. Lionel makes a flat car especially for launching copters. And when you release them, they actually take off and fly. This grand old Western train is called the General, and it's an authentic copy of the trains you see in TV Westerns. And here's how you make the Lionel General smoke. The wonderful thing about this equipment is that you're in control. Yep, on the Lionel line, you're the boss. Tell Mom and Dad you want a Lionel electric train, the Christmas present that lets you be the boss. Remember the name? Lionel.
How do you take it off? That's absurd! That finger trap was a party favor at his 10th birthday! He wore that finger trap for 2 years! Mother had to teach him to eat with his feet! And the combination! And the backward! And my cigar! And he slept so well! Spirits above me, give me a sign. Shall I be joyous or shall I be damned?
This is a tense moment at the launching base as the huge Atlas missile with the man-carrying Mercury capsule is prepared for the shot. Now, for the first time, this most powerful rocket is to be launched from a railroad car, the new Lionel Mercury capsule launching car. The astronaut is moved to the capsule hatch by the new Lionel cherry picker car. It moves off. The countdown begins. Nearby at the new Lionel heliport, a Navy copter takes off to make the recovery. The countdown proceeds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And the liftoff. The capsule separates and settles gently to Earth by parachute. And you control the action. Remember, boy, you're the boss on land, in the air, and under the sea when you own Lionel Trains.
On the night before Christmas, today's kids have a one-track mind. They dream of Lionel Trains with the extra speed and power of magnet traction. Lionel's exclusive track-gripping power. Make your boys dream of a perfect Christmas come true.
Real live missiles. Just like the ones on the Lionel missile firing car you can own. It fires 4 artillery-type missiles. Lionel missile firing car loaded and ready. Lionel helicopter car. Stand by for takeoff to spot the target. Launch helicopter.
Helicopter 3419. Enemy boxcar with explosives on siding. Ready missiles. Fire!
Direct hit on Lionel's exploding target car. 3 Lionel cars you'll want for your own. A helicopter car, a Lionel missile firing car, and exploding boxcar. This Christmas, remember, you are the boss when you own Lionel Trains.
Lionel Express, all aboard. Look at her streak along the rails. It's a Lionel. Here's realism. Lionel smoke-puffing loco. Lionel Express arriving on
Lionel way. Don't miss seeing these wonderful new trains.
Realism. The wonderful world of trains has been presented by the Lionel Corporation.